My name's Joshua Anderson, and I'm creating a documentary about how AI will affect the media and film industry.
How do I introduce myself and the kind of work? So I guess I'm a filmmaker. I've done a lot of factual television programs and a lot of factual entertainment shows. And my name is Nathan McIntosh.
My name is Toby Gleed, and I am a lighting gaffer / cinematographer.
My name is Georgie, and I am a sound person and an editor. I sometimes dabble in directing, but it's kind of not my main thing, but I really, really, really like editing and doing sound, which is two very different skill sets.
Gary Smith, a man who wrote the book called The AI Delusion, says that we are worried intelligent machines will decide to protect themselves by enslaving or eliminating humans. Do you think that one day AI could potentially take over the human race?
I think... Let me have a little think.
I think AI has astonished us already in the speed of its development. I mean, I remember looking at some AI videos back in the early days when this stuff was just first being brought out, you know, Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it was like, this is never going to get anywhere.
It's difficult because right now we're just seeing the birth of it. We're not really seeing it kind of, actually, I take that back. In the most recent years, we are seeing it develop a lot quicker than what we were doing. You know, you look at our human history in a very short period of time compared to other species. We have, what we would say, have evolved quite quickly, especially when it comes to technology.
I think the human race will not always prevail. No species ever does always prevail. But I think it's kind of uncharted territory because no sentient creature has ever invented something that could potentially replace itself. Like there's never been a trilobite in the ocean making fucking computers and that. So I think it has already started replacing us in so many different aspects of life.
The amount of AI stuff out there, videos that are just being streamed onto the internet on a daily basis that are really actually hard to pinpoint, okay, am I seeing this as a real thing or is it completely fabricated? The level of complexity out there is just baffling.
And AI on the track that it's on is evolving, within the last 5 or 6 years now. It has evolved to a point where some people can't even tell if it's real or fake. Even AI has done something where we haven't either told it to do it or we haven't expected it. So I think that because AI has time on its side and it knows everything about us, and I think it's just gonna slowly, surely just push out either this kind of like this propaganda thing saying, don't have kids, kill yourself, all these things like that, which people will just constantly see and think about it, and then basically just wipe out generations based on that. It doesn't even have to do anything.
So I think it could replace us, but I think not physically.
So to answer, what was the question again?
Do you think that AI will take over the human race?
Do I think it will take over? I don't think anyone fully understands how it will impact humanity.
Springer Nature Link is a website that has articles about AI and the future of creative development. It states that AI is particularly valuable during the production stages of digital media. So tell me how in your line of work does AI impact your production positively?
So from a sound perspective, doing sound, AI can help me. There is an element of that where you can put potentially an AI compressor on a voice if you have a mixer that supports it.
When on set, it's a little bit different. We have DMX, we have apps which control lights anyway. So when you go into post-production, there are quite a few softwares now that you can add lights, even on like basic ones, free ones like CapCut and DaVinci as well. You can add in fake light.
I think that's quite interesting. I mean, I already know people using AI in the context of pitch decks, maybe not for content, but to make it more interesting, or, you know, add pictures or things within kind of, if people are putting pictures in for factual television production in the development stage. I think there's a bit of a kind of, you know, make sure you don't use AI in content for TV at the moment, and, you know, a lot of the BBC kind of documents are don't put AI. You've got to sign this box that says AI is not included, or if it is included, the execs need to know about it.
And then in editing, I mean, you know, AI can be very useful in editing. I pride myself on trying to do things as kind of authentically as possible, with as much kind of human craft as possible. But things such as like AI cleanup tools, things such as I've used an AI vocals remover so I can have an instrumental version of a track. Things like that will, or can be, and are right now very helpful.
You always want to do things in camera, but when it comes to it and it can add to it, then of course those are tools that are meant to add on to what you've already got. It's almost like CGI, you know, meant to add on to what you've got, not just completely replace everything that you've done.
But in terms of the early development stages, you know, people using it to format pictures, or, you know, once they've written something, to kind of maybe give them some tips or some points of how they could structure it. Perhaps maybe that's acceptable, but I think there's still this kind of apprehension of, you know, is it a bit of a cheat? Is it a bit of a, you know, how much can we use this tool without degrading the point of our own existence?
Queen Mary University of London has revealed findings that people working in creative industries are worried that their jobs are under threat from AI. Do you think that the industry you're working in is a threat to AI?
So
I think that there is a certain level of humanity in what we do. I don't think AI, even if it, you know, as it evolves and stuff like that, I don't think it can recreate what we do. I think there is, you know, when you can look at like handheld things and stuff like that, and you think AI can never really generate that. So like the little imperfections and even when it comes to the talent in front of camera and everything, it's like there's always those little subtleties which kind of make it human. And I think that AI won't be able to do that. And I feel like it's important to keep it that way.
There is an element of threat where people are generating scenes. I mean, people now are generating scenes. People can generate films all from AI. And that, I think, undermines the entire craft. And with that, there will always be that element of filmmakers wanting to make films. I think the human craft of it, even if it becomes a kind of niche thing, a bit like jazz. Jazz used to be massive and now it's kind of a bit niche, but people make it just because they love it. So I think there's an element of humans will always want to make stuff. If the craft becomes more of something just for the love of the game rather than a career option, then so be it. But I think film and creative media in general will always prevail, and I think that's kind of cool.
in the line of work of documentary, I actually think we're quite safe from AI. I mean, I think everyone's going to really want real stories and going to want to see real people being interviewed about real stories. I think drama might be under threat because you see all these amazing kind of action sequences that are coming out created entirely by AI. But then maybe that's just going to up the game. Maybe there's a new invention that people have to reinvent themselves in order to compete, and maybe there's something on the horizon that AI is going to force us to kind of gravitate towards. But for documentary side of things, I think actually people are always going to want that thing that is real, that is a real person talking, a real story. I think what I find frightening about AI is that it has the ability to create things instantly that would have taken hours, years of work. You know, you look at some of the animations that are coming out, AI Studio Ghibli-esque things where you know that Studio Ghibli took years and years to come up with something that looks what the AI can come up with in seconds. So does that create a system where the value of things are reduced because nothing really takes any time and effort anymore? And how does that affect an industry that is based on blood, sweat and tears to a certain degree?
So you've heard what Nathan, Toby and Georgie have to say. Now, I don't have a lot to say, but personally I think AI is a very useful tool and will make filming and filmmaking so much easier, but also it's going to require a lot of people to lose their jobs, unfortunately. But that's the world that we live in at the moment. No one knows what the future beholds, but all I know is that I'm very excited to see where my career with AI is going to go.